Hello and welcome to Naked World Podcast, coming to you live from Beijing, the capital city of the People's Republic of China. The Naked World Podcast aims to uplift, inspire, motivate, and to encourage personal growth and introspection. I am your host, RJ. Today I want to talk about insecurity and how to overcome it. Let us start by looking at what is insecurity. A person with high levels of insecurity may often experience a lack of confidence regarding many aspects of life. It may be difficult for that person to form lasting relationships or attend to daily tasks due to a self-perception of helplessness or inadequacy. Insecurity often causes negative thoughts about one's ability to fit in with peers, reach goals, or find acceptance and support. Feelings of insecurity can come from many sources, both real and imaginary. You may feel unsure about whether other people really like you, or for example, whether you're able to keep your job. Or you may just be generally insecure. Whether the basis of your insecurity is real or not, the feeling can be crippling unless you know how to handle it. Feelings of insecurity leaves us over-dependent on external factors like admiration, praise and promotions becomes the factors that we are dependent on. But even then, the feeling of achievement is generally temporary. Soon after, we turn inward, digging inside ourselves, looking inside ourselves for a vein of confidence that remains elusive sometimes. Insecurity makes it difficult for us to make our voices heard. It leaves us unable to dissent, that means to disagree, and makes us tentative in our work relationships. It leaves us dissatisfied, undermines collaboration, and renders our teams less creative and efficient. You are listening to Naked World Podcast, coming to you live from Beijing, the capital city of the People's Republic of China. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Naked World Podcast platform. Our email address, podcast@nacinchina.com. What causes insecurity? No, there's no one cause for insecurity. Many factors can lead to the condition. Insecurity may stem from a traumatic event, crisis such as, for example, a divorce or bankruptcy, or loss of a loved one. It can also result from one's environment. As unpredictability or upset in the daily life can cause anxiety and insecurity about ordinary routine events. People who have recurring insecurities may also have low self-esteem, experience body image issues, like thinking, well, I'm too fat, I'm too ugly. They could lack direction in life or feel overlooked by others. There isn't one person amongst us who doesn't have insecurities. Some are just better at dealing with them or perhaps even hiding them. All of us have some form of insecurities. It's how we handle this. And insecurity affects all of us in different ways. Insecure individuals, in addition to struggling with the formation of healthy relationships, also may find it difficult to share emotions or be forthright about important aspects of daily life. Insecurity can also take a toll on the mental health and is connected to negative mood, hypertension, and other symptoms which can lead to you distancing yourself from people in general. And this distance can lead to isolation, which is associated with mental health issues such as depression, social anxiety, and sometimes even dementia, and as well as a lower self-esteem. One type of insecurity, known as social insecurity, can also cause people to feel insecure in their relationships with others. Social insecurity can be self-perpetuating, as individuals with this type of insecurity may act on their feelings of rejection, causing others to reject them in turn. You're listening to Naked World Podcast, coming to you live from Beijing, the capital city of the People's Republic of China. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Nakic World podcast platform. Our email address, podcast@nacinchina.com. It's normal to have down days where you feel you can't seem to do anything right. That is absolutely normal. But feeling insecure about yourself all the time can take a toll on every aspect of your life, from your physical health and emotional well-being to how you perform at your job. The question now is, how do we overcome these insecurities? How do we become okay with ourselves? How do we learn to find contentment and peace? And the answer isn't simple, but it requires one thing to start with: a willingness to face what we usually don't want to face. That is at the core of addressing insecurity, a willingness to face that we usually don't want to face. That means a bit of courage, just in small doses to start with, but it means a willingness to set aside all the distractions for a little bit and just focus on what you're struggling with. This is very important. Focusing on overcoming our insecurities can actually be seen as an opportunity to do some good work, to learn about how we work, how our minds work, how emotions work, to develop skills that will help us with life. So, if we address our insecurities from a positive point of view, it's also an opportunity to understand ourselves better. Once we have a better sense of where our insecurity comes from and the profound influence it is having on our lives, we can begin taking steps to overcome our insecurity. And here are some suggestions of what we can do. Firstly, accept who you are. Pause and take a self-assessment. Take inventory of everything you're doing right. Take care of your needs first. If you're always looking after everyone else's needs and forgetting your own, you're not valuing yourself enough. Adding in more self-care to your daily routine can help you counter negative thoughts and build up your self-worth. Give yourself assurance, give yourself compassion. So that's the first step. Accept who you are. Secondly, let go of the past. If your insecurities have been shaped by, for example, a family member, a husband, a wife, a friend, an authority figure like a boss criticizing you, recognize this. And start to forgive them for their bad behavior. Because holding on to resentment isn't going to help you. Let the past go, one step at a time. Practice self-approval. If you notice yourself wanting someone else's approval, their praise and their attention, their likes and also their retweets, pause and instead replace that with self-approval. And let the past go. That's the second step. Thirdly, start to develop trust in yourself. Trust that you will be okay. Counter negative thoughts as they come up. And by forgiving yourself and understand these negative thoughts are isolated instances that doesn't define you as a person. By considering what you've learned from the experiences, the negative experiences, and refocusing on the positive experiences, you start developing the trust in yourself. Ask yourself the question, how is this taught you to create a better outcome in the future? If it hasn't helped you to create a better outcome in the future, leave those negative thoughts. Celebrate your successes and talk yourself up. Be positive. Being proud of what you do, even if it seems awkward at first, can have a powerful effect on your self-esteem. You're listening to Nakic World podcast, coming to you live from Beijing, the capital city of the People's Republic of China. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Nakic World podcast platform. Our email address, podcast@nacinchina.com. Overcoming insecurity don't happen overnight. Try to be kind to yourself during this process and don't get discouraged if things aren't improving as fast as you'd like them to do. As you work through this tough but very worthy challenge of overcoming your insecurity, it is important to practice self-compassion. Now, if you've forgotten how to practice self-compassion, please listen, go back to episode 8 of season 1, where we discussed developing self-compassion. Now, self-compassion encourages an attitude of kindness and patience. And once we realize our own strength and importance, once we see the ways we've been hurt and can feel for ourselves on a deep level, we can actually start to break free of the chains that holds us back. We can shed the insecurity of our past and become the people we want to be. And that is the end of this podcast. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Naked World podcast platform. Our email address, podcast@nacinchina.com. Naked World podcast is broadcasted twice weekly, every Tuesday and Thursday at 1500 hours, 3 p.m. Beijing time. Until next time, till we meet again, goodbye from a lovely Beijing in the People's Republic of China.